My wife makes me choose between my sick mother and her. She will leave me if I don't choose right. So, I've been married for a while now, and my wife and my mom have never gotten along. It's been this way since day one. They've always had beef with each other, quarreling over stupid stuff, throwing shade, just constant drama. I don't even know how it started anymore. It's like they were born to hate each other. Individually, I'm good with both of them. My mom's my mom, she raised me, she's always been there. My wife's my partner, and we've built a life together. But put them in the same room, and it's a war zone. They've got no problem trash-talking each other to me, which pisses me off. Mom will say my wife's selfish and controlling. My wife will say mom's needy and manipulative. I've heard it all. After years of this, I'm just numb to it. It's background noise at this point. The tension's always been there, simmering under the surface. I figured out early on that keeping them apart was the only way to survive. Family gatherings? Nightmare. Holidays? A scheduling puzzle to avoid overlap. It's exhausting, but I've managed. My wife's got her reasons for not liking mom, something about mom being too involved in our business. Mom's got her own gripes, mostly about my wife not respecting her as the matriarch. I don't care who's right or wrong, I just want peace. But peace isn't an option with these two. They've got this unspoken competition going, and I'm stuck in the middle, trying not to lose my mind. It's been like this for so long that I've adapted. I don't even flinch when mom calls to complain about my wife's latest, disrespectful, comment, or when my wife vents about mom asking for too much. I listen, I nod, I move on. It's my normal. They don't see how much it wears me down, but I've never been the type to make a big deal out of it. I love them both, and I've always thought I could handle it. Keep the balance, you know? That was my plan, until everything started falling apart. Looking back, the first big red flag was at my wedding. I should have known then that this was going to be a permanent shit show. The day was already stressful, planning, family everywhere, the usual chaos. My wife and I were at the altar, doing the whole vow thing, and the officiant asked that classic question. Does anyone object to this marriage? It's supposed to be a formality, right? Nobody actually says anything. Except my mom did. She stood up, loud as hell, and shouted, "I protest!" People laughed because they thought it was a joke. Mom played it off like it was, smirking and sitting back down. My wife's face went stone cold though. She didn't laugh. I could feel her tense up next to me, and I knew she was pissed. After the ceremony, my wife didn't say much about it, but I could tell it stuck with her. She brought it up later that night, asking why mom would pull something like that. I told her it was just mom being mom, loud, dramatic, always needing attention. It wasn't serious. But my wife didn't buy it. She said it was disrespectful, that it showed mom didn't want her in the family. I tried to brush it off, but deep down, I knew she had a point. Mom's never been subtle about her feelings. That moment planted a seed, and it's been growing ever since. The wedding wasn't the end of it, just the start. Mom kept finding ways to poke at my wife, and my wife started digging her heels in harder. They'd argue over dumb stuff, who was hosting Thanksgiving, why my wife didn't call mom enough, why mom didn't approve of our apartment. I was the referee, always stepping in to calm things down. It sucked, but I figured it was manageable. Back then, it was just annoying, not a crisis. I didn't realize how bad it'd get once mom's health started going downhill. A few years into the marriage, mom started getting sick. It wasn't sudden, she'd always had issues, but it got worse fast. First, it was little things, colds that wouldn't go away, fatigue that kept her in bed longer than usual. Then it turned into hospital visits. Doctors ran tests, and found out she had a chronic condition. I won't bore you with the medical details, but it's the kind of thing that doesn't get better, only worse. She needed meds, treatments, specialists, all of it expensive. I'm her only kid, so it fell on me to help. My dad's around, but he's not exactly rolling in cash either. They needed me, and I wasn't about to let them down. At first, it was just time. I'd drive mom to appointments, sit with her in waiting rooms, pick up prescriptions. My wife didn't mind too much then, she'd even ask how mom was doing, though I could tell it was forced. But as the bills piled up, things changed. Treatment wasn't cheap, and insurance only covered so much. I started dipping into our savings to help out. My parents couldn't afford it all, and I couldn't just watch mom suffer. I'd send a few $100 here, 1,000 there. It added up quick. My wife noticed the bank statements, and started asking questions. She wasn't happy. I tried to explain it to her. Mom raised me. She sacrificed everything when I was a kid, worked 2 jobs, made sure I had what I needed. How could I not step up now? It's not like I was blowing the money on random crap. It was keeping my mom alive. But my wife didn't see it that way. She'd point out how much we were spending, how it was draining us. I got it, money's tight for everyone, but I couldn't wrap my head around her acting like it was some selfish choice. To me, it was non-negotiable. That's when the real fight started. The arguments about money kicked off about a year ago, and they never stopped. Mom's treatments were eating through cash faster than I could keep up. I'd send my parents whatever I could, sometimes half my paycheck, sometimes more if there was an emergency. My wife started checking our accounts obsessively, like she was waiting for the next betrayal. She'd see a withdrawal and lose it. She'd ask why I was giving so much, why I couldn't just let my parents figure it out. I'd tell her they couldn't. Dad's pension barely covered their rent, and Mom's medical bills were insane. It wasn't optional, it was survival. She had a different take. She'd say we needed to think about our future, our house, our savings, maybe kids someday. She wasn't wrong, we weren't rich. I work a decent job, but it's not like I'm swimming in extra cash. Every dollar I sent to Mom was a dollar we didn't have for ourselves. I got that. But abandoning Mom wasn't an option for me. I'd ask my wife what she'd do if it was her parents, and she'd dodge the question or say it wasn't the same. To her, my mom was this burden I was choosing over us. To me, my mom was family, and family doesn't get left behind. The fights got uglier over time. She'd accuse me of prioritizing Mom over her. I'd fire back that she was being heartless. We'd go days barely talking after a blowout. I hated it, but I didn't know how to fix it. I couldn't cut Mom off, and my wife wouldn't budge. It was this constant tug-of-war, and I was the rope getting shredded. I kept hoping she'd come around, see my side, but instead, she just got madder. That's when I realized this wasn't going to blow over like the old petty stuff. Things hit a wall a few months ago. Mom had a bad spell, ended up in the hospital for a week straight. The bills were brutal, and I had to cover most of it. I emptied what was left of our savings, took on some extra shifts at work, even started selling random stuff online to scrape by. My wife saw the numbers and flipped out worse than ever. She wasn't just mad this time, she was done. She sat me down one night, no yelling, just this cold, flat tone. She said she couldn't keep living like this, watching me pour everything into my mom while our life fell apart. I tried to reason with her. I explained Mom's latest scare, how she almost didn't pull through. I said I wasn't choosing Mom over her, it was just what I had to do. She didn't buy it. She said every dollar I gave Mom was a choice, and I was picking wrong every time. She brought up kids again, how we'd never afford them at this rate. She talked about our apartment, how we couldn't even fix the leaky sink because I drained us dry. I didn't have much to say back. She was right about the money, but I couldn't admit it out loud. I just kept thinking about Mom hooked up to machines, and my stomach knotted up. That's when she dropped the bomb. She said she was tired of fighting, tired of feeling second. She told me I had to choose, her or Mom. If I kept sending money, kept putting Mom first, she was out. I sat there stunned. I couldn't believe she'd draw that line. I asked if she was serious, and she just nodded, grabbed her keys, and left. She went to her parents' place that night. I didn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, trying to process how it got this bad. My wife didn't come back the next day. Or the day after. She texted me once, saying she was staying with her parents until I figured things out. I didn't even know how to respond. Figure what out? That my mom's dying and I'm supposed to let her rot? I didn't text back. I was too mad, too confused. The apartment felt empty without her, quiet in a way that made my skin crawl. I'd walk past her stuff, her jacket on the hook, her coffee mug in the sink, and it hit me that she might not come back. That was the first time I really let it sink in. Work was a blur. I'd go in, do my shifts, come home, and crash. I didn't tell anyone what was happening, not my buddies, not my parents. I couldn't handle the questions. Mom called a few times, asking how I was holding up with her latest treatment costs. I lied, said everything was fine. I didn't want her worrying. She had enough on her plate. Meanwhile, I was scrambling to cover the next round of bills. I took out a small loan, maxed out a credit card. It was a mess, but I couldn't stop. Mom needed it, and my wife wasn't there to fight me on it anymore. I kept replaying that last talk in my head. Her voice, so calm and final, telling me to choose. I didn't get how she could make it that simple. Mom's my blood, she's not some random expense I can cut. But my wife's my life too, or she was. I started wondering if I'd screwed up, if I'd pushed her too far. Then I'd think about Mom alone in that hospital bed, and the guilt would flip right back. I was stuck, spinning in circles, with no clue what to do next. A week after my wife left, I was still a wreck. I'd wake up every morning expecting her to be there, then remember she wasn't. I stopped cooking, just lived on takeout and coffee. The apartment was a disaster, but I didn't care. My head was too full of noise to focus on anything else. I kept asking myself how it came to this. I'd been juggling Mom and my wife for years, and it sucked, but it worked. Now it was all gone. My wife at her parents', me alone, Mom still sick. I couldn't see a way out. I started thinking about what my wife wanted. She wasn't wrong about the money. I'd spent thousands on Mom over the years. Our savings were shot, and we'd put off stuff like vacations or fixing up the place. She'd always talked about kids, and I'd say, someday. But that someday kept getting pushed back. I could see why she felt cheated. I wasn't blind to it. But then I'd think about Mom, how she'd cry on the phone when she couldn't afford her meds, how she'd thank me like I was some hero. I couldn't turn my back on that. It wasn't in me. I tried calling my wife once. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message, didn't know what to say. Sorry, I picked my mom. Come back and we'll figure it out. Nothing felt right. I wondered if she was waiting for me to cave, to say I'd stop helping Mom. But I knew I wouldn't. I couldn't. It was like choosing between breathing and eating, both kept me alive in different ways. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. She'd put me in an impossible spot and bailed when I wouldn't bend. It felt unfair, but I missed her anyway. 3 weeks in, my wife finally called. I picked up, heart pounding, hoping she'd say she was coming home. She didn't. Her voice was steady, no tears, no anger, just businesslike. She asked if I'd made a decision. I froze. I'd been avoiding that word, decision, like it was a loaded gun. I told her I didn't know what she wanted me to say. She repeated it, her or Mom. No middle ground, no compromise. She said she couldn't live with me if I kept training us for my mom's care. She needed a husband who'd put their life first. Then she waited, silent, for my answer. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at the wall. Mom's latest hospital bill was on the table, another grand I didn't have. I thought about her, frail and scared, counting on me. Then I thought about my wife, the years we'd had, the plans we'd made. I loved her. I still do. But I couldn't say the words she wanted. I told her I couldn't abandon Mom, that it wasn't who I was. She didn't argue. She just said, okay, and hung up. That was it. No yelling, no begging, just done. I knew then she wasn't coming back. After the call, I sat in the dark for hours. I felt sick. I'd chosen Mom, but it didn't feel like winning. My wife was gone, and I'd pushed her out by not letting go. I kept telling myself it was the right call. Mom needed me more, she couldn't survive without help. But it hurt. I'd lost my marriage over it. I didn't sleep that night, just kept running it over in my head, wondering if I could have done something different. The answer was no, but that didn't make it easier. It's been a month since that phone call, and I'm still here, picking up the pieces. My wife filed for divorce last week. I got the papers in the mail, and seeing her signature on them made it real. We're done. She's still at her parents', and I don't know if she's moved on or what. I don't ask. I've stopped trying to reach out, it's clear she's checked out. The apartment's mine now, I guess, but it doesn't feel like home anymore. It's just a place I sleep between work and hospital visits. Mom's still hanging on. The money I send keeps her treatments going, but it's a grind. I'm in debt now, credit cards, that loan, whatever I can scrape together. Work steady, but it's not enough. I don't regret choosing her though. She calls me every day, grateful, and that keeps me going. I visit when I can, sit by her bed, and we talk about dumb stuff like old TV shows. She doesn't know about the divorce yet, I can't tell her. She'd blame herself, and I don't want that on her conscience. Dad knows, but he doesn't say much. He just pats my shoulder and changes the subject. I miss my wife. That's the hardest part. I'll catch myself thinking about her, her laugh, the way she'd hum while cooking, and it stabs me every time. I don't hate her for leaving. She gave me a choice, and I picked. It's on me. I just wish it hadn't come to that. Life's quieter now, but not in a good way. I'm keeping Mom alive, but I lost half of myself doing it. That's where I'm at, stuck between duty and regret, trying to figure out how to live with both.